Joining us to talk about what's ahead for the economy, Julia Coronado, president and founder of MacroPolicy Perspectives, and Tyler Goodspeed, acting chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors under President Trump. He's now with both the Cato Institute and the Hoover Institution. And Julia, hard, soft, no recession, what's the most likely outcome in 2023, or do we need to talk 2024?
Well, I think what the incoming data still show is that the economy is in pretty good shape. It's been very resilient. I think the margin we're all watching now is the degree of credit tightening and how much that amplifies Fed rate hikes. You know, if we look at how this filters in, this is where lags in monetary policy really come to bear. And it usually takes a few quarters for credit tightening to show its full effect. So if we do get into a recession, or if we're heading into one, I think it's probably more of an early 2024 phenomenon, and that gives us time, and it gives the Fed time to sort of calibrate its policy accordingly and try and read the tea leaves a little bit.
So Julia, would you view the relatively strong labor market as a blessing or a curse for what the Fed's trying to do?
I think it's both. Certainly, it has been, providing some incipient inflation pressures. It wasn't the major cause of inflation, and so I don't think that we're not in a Phillips curve world. We haven't been. We still are not. And what we are seeing is that companies are reporting what we call labor hoarding. They're more strategic and more inclined not to just quickly turn to layoffs, but to hold on to some of their key employees as revenues soften. That could provide the U.S. economy better resiliency. So, I think ultimately a good, strong labor market is and can only be seen as a blessing primarily, and something that the Fed should try to balance as it fights inflation.
So, Tyler, I asked Julia 2 or 3 questions, I think. Do you agree with everything she said? Do you have some nuance or totally disagree? What do you think?
I broadly agree with what Julia just said. I would add that former Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke once quipped that economic recoveries don't die of old age, they're murdered. And overall, since 1945, the murder rate in any given year for economic recoveries is about 16%. There's about a 16% probability that an economic recovery comes to an end in any given calendar year. During the Great Inflation from 1966 to 1981, the homicide rate for economic recoveries spiked to about 33%, so more than double the typical probability. And the reason for that was you had a very aggressively hiking Federal Reserve that was generating contracting economic conditions, contracting financial conditions, and it was into that contractionary context that some real shocks hit. There was a big GM strike in '69. There was, of course, the Arab oil embargo in '73, the Iran oil shock in '79. And I think that's sort of a reminder that this anti-inflation environment can create a sort of tightening financial context onto which history happens. And that's why I think that we are looking at an above average probability of a recession hitting in the next 12 months. But as Julia said, given the lags of monetary policy, probably toward the latter half of 2023, even early 2024.